Good evening from Joliet, Illinois, and Joliet Memorial Stadium, the home of the University of St. Francis, who today take on Roosevelt University in CCAC soccer. Terry Bonadonna with you for the play-by-play of today's matchup as the Fighting Saints of St. Francis try to continue to claw their way up the CCAC standings, taking on a Roosevelt squad that's looking to get back on the scoreboard. They've been shut out in back-to-back matches and have won just one of their last 5 attempts. St. Francis, on the other hand, enters play today on a 3-match winning streak. They haven't lost a game since back on September the 16th, so it's been 4 weeks since they found their way to the loss column. Quite a few ties in there as well, but as I said, 3 consecutive wins for the Fighting Saints as we enter today's games. They're playing excellent soccer of late, and they've got a chance to keep it going today against a struggling Lakers team. Roosevelt takes the field in black with green numbers. St. Francis is in gold with white numbers. They're on the left side of your screen. Probably don't need me to tell you that. But Roosevelt's on the right side. They'll be going from right to left here in the first half. And shooting into the north goal, St. Francis going from left to right. Shooting into the south goal for the first 45 minutes today. We're underway as Roosevelt takes the first kick and sends it down to the goalkeeper of St. Francis. That's the sophomore Crystal Rodriguez, who's on quite a roll for the Saints of late. Rodriguez punts it away and starts the forward momentum for the first time today for the Fighting Saints. Headed back onto the defensive side for Roosevelt. Thought about sending it back to their goalkeeper as well, but they'll play it from the defensive end, and I'll take the moment of downtime to read off the starting lineups for you. At least I will in a minute. For a moment there, it looked like there wasn't going to be any downtime. St. Francis began the attack again. Now the ball is stuck in midfield. We look at the starters for Roosevelt. Brenna Roloff, Destiny Ashcraft, Maita Gongora, Naya Bejarano, Paola Macias, Becca Simpkins, Kira Cruikshank, Daisy Hernandez-Loya, Peyton Conley, and Mackenzie Alvarez start for the Lakers, who are being challenged by St. Francis. A shot from long range sails over the net and out of bounds for a goal kick. Isabel Diaz, the star freshman, stepped in with the first shot of the game for either team, and way too high to make any noise. The goalkeeper for Roosevelt today is the junior Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez. Give you the numbers on her in just a moment. Just her second start of the season. For St. Francis, I told you about their goalkeeper, Crystal Rodriguez. Starting in front of her, Zoe Vallant, Abby Janacek, Alexis Mariquin, Claudia Hernandez, Mia Okana, Litzy Mendez, Kelly Flores, Emily Galvin, Andrea Aguirre, and moments ago we met Isabel Diaz, who took that initial shot. Right at midfield on the near side of the field, a throw in for Roosevelt. Rolling towards the middle of the field, Daisy Hernandez-Loya, sophomore, who is the leading scorer this year for Roosevelt. She and Naya Bejarano each have 4 goals to pace the Lakers. They try to strike first. First time on the attack today, sent into the box, and it rolls harmlessly into the hands of Crystal Rodriguez. Rodriguez this season has started 14 of her team's 15 games now, including today. She's allowed 17 goals in total, 1.36 per match, and she's got 3 shutouts this year. She's made 45 saves, good for a 726 save percentage, and the record attributed to her is 3 wins, 5 losses, and 4 ties. Rodriguez was struggling earlier in the season. She was sat down in favor of Katie Morales for a couple of games, and Morales played well. But ever since Rodriguez has been reinserted into the lineup, she's been outstanding. She has not allowed any goals in 2 of the last 3 matches and has given up 2 goals total in her last 4. Fighting Saints work the ball down into the corner. Looking for the cross into the box. Passed out at the edge of the box towards Kelly Flores. Poked away from her. Saints keep it alive, though. Litzy Mendez tracks it down. Mendez takes it towards the back line. Knocked away from her and out of bounds on the far side. A throw-in for St. Francis. Trying to challenge the goalkeeping work of Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez. Making her second start and 3rd appearance this year. There's a shot and a save for Aguinaga Hernandez. First shot on goal today. It belongs to Mia Okana. And Okana's attempt is saved by Hernandez, a junior from Chicago who allowed 4 goals in her first 56 minutes played this year, 1 start, and came in midway through 1 other game. She's made just 1 save, or I guess as of about 15 seconds ago she had made 1 save this year. Now she's made 2. Came in with a 200 save percentage. I'm not good at math, but I can figure this one out. That save percentage is up from 200 now to 333. She's got an 0-1 record as goalie this year. We're just over 4 minutes into the action. Promising start for St. Francis. Very early on, they've already mounted a couple of chances. They've got 2 shots today, one of them on goal. Roosevelt has not so much had the ball early on. Just 1 time have they had it in their possession on the attacking side of the field. They may get a chance for another one here as the Saints send it forward and out of bounds. Goal kick coming up. Fighting Saints entered play today with an overall record of 4-5-5. Very good so far in conference, 4-1-3. Roosevelt entered play with an overall record of 4-7. They're 2-5 against CCAC teams. Both teams at times this year have struggled to score, but St. Francis has had a little bit more consistently solid defense. We'll see if that defense holds up here. The attack from Daisy Hernandez-Loya, it's knocked away from her and out of bounds. Roosevelt will remain on the offensive after the throw-in. Sent into Destiny Ashcraft. Here's a shot from way out there. Brenna Roloff watches it roll into the hands of Crystal Rodriguez. The shot was more than 30 yards out from Roloff and an easy save for Rodriguez. There's a whistle, and I think they called a handball against St. Francis. So a free kick from midfield for Roosevelt. Kick will be taken by Mackenzie Alvarez, sophomore from Poplar Grove, Illinois. Right down the middle of the pitch. Stepping up, St. Francis' defense clears it out of bounds on a long kick from Andrea Aguirre. Tossed in by Ashcraft, deflected right back out by St. Francis, wearing the gold jerseys today, typically in white at home, but on a chilly, wet day, they wear the long sleeves. It is unpleasant out today. Perfect time for a soccer doubleheader. The men's team's coming up after this one. When you sign up for soccer, you know it's not going to be 70 and sunny all season, but it, for the most part, has been up until today. A lot of beautiful weather to start this season out for the Fighting Saints, at least when they've played their home games, and for the most part when they've been away as well. They were away in their last matchup at Indiana Northwest on Wednesday, a 2-0 shutout victory. Prior to that, 2 in a row at home, both of which they won by a combined 8-1. Let's turn our attention back to the play on the field right now, because a big free kick is coming up for Daisy Hernandez-Loya. 30 yards out, left of the net. Here comes the free kick. Tries to put it on goal, but it's too high. Over the crossbar and out of bounds. So rather than try to set up a teammate, Hernandez-Loya tried to score herself on the free kick. Did not go her way. And St. Francis now has a free opportunity to clear it off the leg of Crystal Rodriguez, the sophomore goalkeeper, who is coming off of a shutout performance against Indiana Northwest last time she took the field. St. Francis on the move across midfield and rolled into no man's land. 8 minutes in now, just under 37 to play in the first half. Nothing on the scoreboard over the first 8 minutes. But St. Francis has had a few more chances. The best one of the game just a few seconds ago for Roosevelt did not go anywhere as it went out of bounds on the free kick. And now the Lakers try to attack once again. Knocked off the foot of Emily Galvin and cleared by Zoe Vallant to the far side, or the near side of the field, I should say. Knocked away once again by St. Francis. Roosevelt remains on the offensive, sent ahead to Hernandez-Loya. Down to the back line, a collision, no whistle blows. Ball remains in play, and now it's knocked out by St. Francis. Zoe Vallant deflected it out of bounds. We've got a corner kick here for Roosevelt. First corner kick of the game for either team. Naya Bejarano takes it. Off with the right foot, right in front of net, deflected to the top of the box. Another deflection from St. Francis. On a shot attempt from Brenna Roloff, the Fighting Saints clear it towards the sideline. Roosevelt will throw it in here. They've stayed in the attacking third for the last minute or so. Couple of chances towards the net. They haven't actually gotten a clean shot off yet, and St. Francis has done a good job of preventing that as they take it away defensively. Held on the defensive end now. Galvin passes it back to Rodriguez. Roosevelt intercepts again. Good defense in the midfield from Litzy Mendez. And now the Fighting Saints finally do clear it once and for all A long attack there for Roosevelt. Did not get them a goal. They still have possession of it back behind the midfield stripe now, and the Saints take it away. Back into the teeth of the Roosevelt defense, and the Lakers get it back to their goalkeeper. Aguinaga Hernandez rolls it a few feet in front of her and sends it off to her right. More than 10 minutes into the action. We've got no score. On the far side of the field, Zoe Vallant knocks it out of bounds. Tried to deflect it off of a Laker, and she did. So it's a throw in for St. Francis. Trying to shift the momentum here for the last 3 to 4 minutes. Play has been pushing from right to left. Saints would like to send it back the other direction. Cross midfield, in the air, headed towards the sideline. Isabel Diaz keeps it in bounds. Taken away by the Lakers defensively and knocked away out of bounds once again. Last touch by Roosevelt. Saints make their way downfield bit by bit on the throws here. This 20 yards upfield from their last throw in. Down to the corner, it's Diaz. Diaz working against Gongora. Tried to turn it back towards the inside, deflected away, and a foul called on St. Francis. Free kick, Roosevelt, who has done a nice job after St. Francis started on the attack. A couple of shots in the first few minutes from the Fighting Saints did not get them a goal. And they haven't had a chance now in close to 10 minutes. Roosevelt's has had a few more. Nothing really good looking towards the net, though. We'll see if one of these two teams can break the stalemate over the next few minutes as the Fighting Saints get to throw in on the near sideline. Aguirre tosses it to Flores. Kelly Flores working to her right side. Knocked away from her. Out of bounds by Ashcraft. Kelly Flores has 4 goals this year. She's been playing well, trying to spark the offense. Flores looks to track this ball down, but a foul called on the Fighting Saints. Isabel Diaz leads the team. 5 goals scored this year, and that has come in just 8 games played. So the freshman's been very impressive offensively. Diaz is the one who took the first shot of the game for St. Francis, the one that ended up sailing a little bit high. Here's Okana passing to her left. Litzy Mendez tripped up, tackled off the ball. Good clean tackle from Paola Macias. She starts the counter strike for Roosevelt. Knocked away by Zoe Vallant. Out of bounds off Roosevelt. Good defense by the Fighting Saints. It's been their calling card all year. In 11 games played, or rather 14 games played this season. They've allowed only 17 goals, just over 1 per contest. It's been better than that in conference play. There's a shot for St. Francis and a save on 1 bounce from Aguinaga Hernandez. So they haven't been particularly difficult shots to stop. Both of St. Francis' shots on goal have come from very long distance. And Aguinaga Hernandez has been able to catch both of them, but just a confidence builder to grab a couple of saves because she had only 1 all season coming in just 2 games played, but still 4 goals allowed, 1 save. Doesn't look too good on the stat sheet. All of a sudden, Aguinaga Hernandez is able to point to a few more saves that she's made and start to feel a little bit better about that stat line as Roosevelt is called for the foul and St. Francis gets the free kick 9 yards beyond midfield. Flores approaches it, sends it towards the net. On 1 bounce, punched off of the crossbar, and Roosevelt knocks it away. Now stepping up, a shot is high and out of bounds. That shot from Aguirre. Great chance for St. Francis. Came kind of as a surprise. After a long distance free kick, bounced right in front of the net and kind of caught Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez off guard. Aguinaga Hernandez was able to tip it up off a high bounce. And that tip was just enough to hit the crossbar and keep St. Francis off the scoreboard. So the Fighting Saints have been putting a little pressure on Roosevelt these last few minutes. Nothing to show for it, but they'll get another chance on a free kick here As a trip right in the middle of the field creates another free kick opportunity for the Saints. Litzy Mendez tripped up on that play. Creates a free shot from about 35 yards off the net. Dead center of the field. Flores lines it up. Flores hit the last one that got Gabby Aguinaga-Hernandez a little bit stuck. This one goes right on net as well, and Aguinaga-Hernandez makes another save. This time she stuck it a little bit more cleanly. Pulled it to her stomach on one short hop. Still scoreless, but not for lack of effort from St. Francis lately. They've been peppering Aguinaga-Hernandez with shots, all of them from long range. They haven't gotten a single attempt from inside the box yet. Just about 16 minutes into the game. Still no scores. Saints trying to change that as Aguirre lines it up for the throw-in. Tossed towards Mendez, who tries to keep it in bounds and can't, but it's knocked out by Roosevelt. Another throw-in for Aguirre. She tosses it soft right back to her, and it's an illegal throw. So we'll go the other way. The throw-in came to Alexis Mariquin, who was behind the defense. Another throw for the Fighting Saints after they got called for the offsides on the last one. Roosevelt knocks it right back out. Here's Galvin stepping up from the defensive side, and her pass is intercepted. Sent downfield by the Lakers, long run for it, and the defense of St. Francis gets it first, but Zoe Vallant's ball is deflected. Stays on the attacking side for the Lakers. Good deflection from Naya Bejarano on a ball that Vallant thought was going to be an easy clearance. Tossed back inbounds. And this time it is an easy clearance for St. Francis. Ashcraft steps back up for the Lakers. Sent to the top of the box. Poked to the left side by the Saints. And cleared down the sideline. Isabel Diaz brings it in. The kick from Janacek. Cross field. Nearly intercepted, but it's deflected out of bounds instead. So not a great pass from St. Francis, but the defensive play from Roosevelt, a miss kick, gives the ball right back to the Fighting Saints. Here's Flores. Flores trying to push it forward, sends it a little bit too far and out of bounds. Goal kick coming up for Roosevelt. 27 minutes to play. First half on a drizzly day in Joliet. Overcast throughout the day today. Seasonably cool, a little bit below average cool temperature today. Peaking in the mid-50s, a triple header day here at Joliet Memorial Stadium. St. Francis football led things off, and now a soccer doubleheader closes out the day. They went out the sideline down in the far corner, which means a throw in for Roosevelt rather than a goal kick, so the Saints start to push their offense forward again. Trying to take the ball away from the Lakers on the throw. Pass is completed, but right back out of bounds. Janacek knocks it in the air, right back out. Another throw for Roosevelt. Headed away by Aguirre down the middle of the field. Here's a run for the Fighting Saints. It's 1-on-4. No choice for O'Connor but to pass it out. Shot comes in from Aguirre, but deflected by the defense before it ever gets to the goalie. And out of bounds on the backside. Corner kick here for the Fighting Saints. Kelly Flores positions the ball for the corner kick. First one of the day for the Fighting Saints. Pushes it to the back post, headed away. Still in the box, another chance for St. Francis. Janacek tried to turn with it, Lost the ball, deflected away by the Roosevelt defense. St. Francis continues to push forward. There's the cross in front of the net. Backside, a little bit too far out in front of Flores. Or O'Connor, rather. O'Connor tracks it down, keeps the play alive. There's a shot from Mia O'Connor and another save for Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez. Not a lot on the shot from Mia O'Connor. It's been the story of the day so far for St. Francis. A lot of chances, but they haven't gotten a good look at the net. Their shots have come in relatively weakly. And Agua Hernandez has a perfect save percentage as a result. See if the Saints can turn it around here. They certainly have outplayed Roosevelt in the early going, though. More time with the ball, a lot more shots. And they've made Roosevelt's defense work hard. Lakers had only about a 3 to 4 minute period where it seemed like they were putting on a lot of offensive pressure. Other than that, it's been all Saints. Janacek passes off to the left side. Mariquin looks to take a shot, but hits it off the side of the net, on the outside of the net. So another shot, this one not on goal from the Saints, but Mariquin does take the shot. It leads to a goal kick. The Lakers get to clear it again right here. For as unpleasant as the weather has been today, it's not very windy. What wind there is blowing into the faces of the Lakers right now, so benefiting St. Francis a little bit, but just a little bit. It's a pretty light breeze. Doesn't sound like it all of a sudden, but it is not blowing too hard for the most part. It has picked up in the last few seconds, just since I started talking, just to make a fool out of me. Knocked out of bounds by the Fighting Saints. Lakers throw in. Ashcraft lobs it in right down the sideline. Hernandez Loya crosses to the middle of the field. Lakers pushing it forward. Into the box, trying to find the middle of the field, but Janacek knocks it loose. And good defense from St. Francis. Right at the halfway point of the first stanza. Scoreless, St. Francis and Roosevelt. Long distance shot, played on one bounce. Cleanly by Crystal Rodriguez. Snuffs out the attempt from Gongora. At midfield. Knocked loose by Galvin. Galvin couldn't quite pull it in. And now a foul called on Galvin. She got the back of the heel, I think, of Daisy Hernandez Loya. Took it away cleanly the first time. Hernandez Loya got it back, though. And on her second attempt at it, Galvin is called for the foul. Hernandez Loya goes back down to her knees. Clock stops with 21:35 to play in the first half. She was down for a few extra seconds before pulling herself back up. She did get up, though. And then as she tried to walk back into position to make this next play, she realized she was still in pain and dropped back down to her knees. So she's being helped off the field, not putting any pressure on her left foot right now. So Daisy Hernandez Loya is out for the moment. Big loss for Roosevelt. She has been one of their top offensive players this year, leading the team with 4 goals. She sits down for now, and we'll see if she's able to go again a little bit later. Every encounter starts to hurt a little bit more when the weather starts cooling down like this. Looked like Hernandez Loya was got on the back of the ankle. Out of bounds. That'll be a goal kick for Roosevelt. St. Francis trying to remain unbeaten over what would be an 8-game stretch. Of their last 7 coming into today, they're 4-0-3. So 7 straight games without a loss, which immediately followed a 4-game losing streak in which they scored in only 1 game. Helped out a lot by their defense at the beginning of conference play because their offense has started to come around over the last few weeks, but they really couldn't score at all early in the season. Yet they were never far out of the conference race because they weren't giving up many goals. So they drew a handful of ties, which helped keep them alive and has them right now in position for a 500 record. If they win this one today, they'll be 5-5-5. Just like a fake phone number. Roosevelt hasn't drawn a tie yet this year. 4-7 overall. Here's Litzy Mendez. Mendez runs into Brenner Roloff. Roloff knocks it loose. Saints get it back. Down the far sideline. Chased towards the corner, but the ball has a little bit too much speed on it. Ends up rolling out of bounds. Throw in is intercepted by St. Francis. Bad place in the field to lose it for Roosevelt. See if the Saints can make anything of this chance. Dribbling towards the corner. There's the cross between the legs of the defenders, but knocked loose on the far side. Mendez steps back into the play. Mendez takes the shot, and it's knocked over the crossbar by Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez. Second time she's done that today. Pushed it over the top bar of the net. That was as close as it's come this game. Saints have had a lot of opportunities early on today, but none as promising as that one. It does set up the corner kick. Flores has the ball positioned for the kick. Sends it in right in front of the net. Headed away by the defense of Roosevelt. Pushed back into the box. Now going back and forth. Saints trying to grasp possession of it. Ahead to Alexis Mariquin. Mariquin can't keep it alive with 2 defenders in the way. And Mackenzie Alvarez ends up knocking the ball free of Mariquin and the St. Francis attack. Towards the corner. And out of bounds on the far side. Adamari Carrera comes in for the Fighting Saints. First substitution that they have made today. The freshman Isabel Diaz steps out. Just under 18 minutes to play in the first half. Trying to hook up with Flores on that throw-in. Not able to find her, but Janacek steps up and gains possession for the Saints. Janacek ahead to Galvin. Galvin's ball is deflected, intercepted by Roosevelt. Kira Crookshank centers it. Still on the defensive end. Ashcraft. Tapped ahead for Crookshank, who this time rolls it right past Litzy Mendez. Looked like Mendez was going to have an interception. May have slightly misjudged it, though. Roosevelt stays on the offensive. Here's a run for Bejarano. Runs into traffic, sends it off to her right. Shot deflected by the Saints defense and cleared by St. Francis. Aguirre tried to reach that pass, too far out in front of her. Along the sideline, pass is deflected, stolen by the Fighting Saints, and out of bounds. Roosevelt's trying to break a scoreless tie here. Not able to get a shot off, though, on that push. St. Francis clears it across midfield, but well out of the reach of any offensive players for the Saints on the far end of the field. It rolls harmlessly out of bounds for the Lakers. It was Roosevelt takes their time with the throw. Finally do push it in, though. Off to the near side. Kelsey Johnson's pass intercepted by Zoe Vallant. Here come the Saints. It's Flores. Pass deflected. Finds Carrera anyway. Wasn't originally intended for Carrera. But it does stay in possession of the Fighting Saints. Not anymore. Flores unwittingly takes it out of bounds. Throw in for the Lakers. Nice job by Roosevelt, hanging in there after a series of attacks from St. Francis. They were not able to finish and score the goal. Roosevelt has held tough, tried to turn it into offense, which they haven't yet. Been several minutes, though, since St. Francis was in that position that they were so comfortable in before. Just keeping the ball in the attacking third, pushing shot after shot, even though most of the shots were not the types of shots you like to get. They were all from a long ways out. Still a shot's a shot, and Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez has been challenged pretty consistently tonight. Lights are on and in full effect here at Joliet Memorial Stadium. There's still daylight remaining for another half hour or so, or maybe a little bit longer than that. But there hasn't been much light today at all. It's been overcast since the sun came up this morning. In front of the net, the shot goes wide to the left. Kelly Flores takes the shot. A little off balance. I think she mistimed her steps slightly as she sent that kick on its way. Well wide to the left, to the extent that Aguinaga Hernandez barely made a move at it. Taken away by the Lakers. Pushed ahead and lost. Emily Galvin pounces on the loose ball. To Litzy Mendez. Mendez's ball is deflected. Good moves by Bejarano. Intercepted, though, by Carrera. Towards the sideline. Roosevelt's defense able to clear it down towards midfield where it's deflected out of bounds by Galvin. Rough first touch by Galvin. Mendez tries to reach that ball. She does off the first touch. Nice little through ball to the back line. Mariquin shot deflected out of bounds. Corner kick coming up for St. Francis. Nice attack set up by the Mendez touch as she chased down a loose ball. And in one motion was able to secure possession and pass it ahead to Mariquin. Good run from Mariquin, but she got in a little bit too deep. And her shot was deflected out. So a corner kick coming up from Kelly Flores over on the far end of the field. Flores soars it to the back post. Header deflected by Aguinaga Hernandez. Claudia Hernandez was the one who put her head on that ball. Aguinaga Hernandez slid over to her left and knocked it away. Looked like that probably would have hit the side of the net on the outside. Had Aguinaga Hernandez not been there, it would have been a goal kick anyway, but didn't want to take any chances, made sure to catch it, make the attempted save. Free kick for the Lakers. On their defensive end, Peyton Connolly right down the middle of the field. Deflected to Ashcraft on the sideline. Into the box. Tapped once and right to Crystal Rodriguez. Scoring drought continues for Roosevelt. They beat Indiana South Bend 7-1 back on October the 7th, or excuse me, October the 3rd, about a week and a half ago. Since then, haven't scored a goal. Going on 2.5 games now. Alex Creel comes on for Roosevelt. O'Connor makes a few defenders miss. Passes it ahead. Deflection from Roosevelt. Ball from Kelsey Johnson into the box. Knocked loose by the Saints. Here comes the counterattack. Kelly Flores tries to set it up. Flores pushed it ahead for Haley Bartlaga, who just checked in. Into the box. Loose near the net. A shot goes wide and off the side of the net out of bounds. That was Mariquin again, a very different style attack from what we saw a minute ago. But the ball ends up much in the same place. This time it was last touched by Mariquin, so it's a goal kick. We're under 10 minutes to play in this first half. Second half obviously still coming up, so there's plenty of time for either one of these teams to get rolling offensively, but so far it's been a defensive struggle. More offensive chances for St. Francis, but for the most part they haven't been really solid offensive chances. Roosevelt's had very few of them, solid or otherwise. Goal kick for Roosevelt after the sub is on and in position. I think that was Darian Lucas who checked in. Saints have outshot the Lakers by 5 today. They've already got 6 shots on goal. That's a lot of them. It's just about 1 shy of their season average. And they've attained that number today with still 8 minutes to play in the first half. Maybe another shot coming up. Bartlaga works herself free beyond one defender. Second defender steps in and comes up with the stop, though. Good defense on that play from Mackenzie Alvarez. It is going to be a corner kick for St. Francis. Could have been a lot worse for the Lakers had Alvarez not been there to knock the ball out. Let's see if St. Francis can make a play now. Their third corner attempt. Kelly Flores on the opposite end of the field. Approaches, pushes it in close to the front post and deflected off of both teams, out of bounds and last touched by St. Francis. So nothing doing on that attack from the Fighting Saints as they continue to mount more opportunities than Roosevelt, one after another in this first half. Nothing to show for it so far. I have mentioned today that both teams have had the tendency at times to struggle on the offensive end. St. Francis, not so much lately. They're still averaging under 2 goals per game as a team. Roosevelt has been going through their worst struggles lately. They've been shut out 4 times total this year. 2 of them have come in their last 2 games. Flores approaches the free kick, sends it towards the target. It's knocked up, still loose in front of the net and falling on top of it. Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez comes up with a stop. Good shot from Flores. Aguinaga Hernandez timed it just right. Knocked the ball up off the crossbar, kept it out of the net, but didn't secure it right away. So the Saints almost on the rebound had a chance, but Aguinaga Hernandez fell on top of the ball. Turned out to be a good play by her. That keeps St. Francis off the board, despite a 7th shot on goal already. Not many for Roosevelt, and the two that they've had have both been pretty weak attempts. That time they were looking for something a little bit better. Rodriguez got to the ball without the necessity of the shot. Here's Johnson. Cross deflected out of bounds by Zoe Valance. Good defensive play by her. Destiny Ashcraft gets the throw in. On the sideline, tapped out of bounds, last touched by the Lakers, meaning the Saints can bring their substitute in, Anna Jakubiak. Checks in for Alexis Mariquin, I think. Yeah, Mariquin is the one coming out. Just under 5 minutes to play in the first half. No score, but not exactly quiet today. A lot of action, a lot of saves made. A few close calls for the Fighting Saints. Guerrero taps it back to Okana. Okana downfield, nobody there. It rolls into the box and ultimately back to Aguinaga Hernandez. I was saying a few moments ago, both sides in this game have had times this year where they've struggled to score. Number for Roosevelt overall is 15 goals scored in 11 games. So less than a goal and a half per game. Saints are just a little bit better than that. But not significantly. Most of that has been recent. At one point, they went 3 straight games without scoring. Since then, they have scored in every game they've played, 7 in a row. Including one 5-goal performance in there and 1 6. Okana takes it into the corner. There's the cross in front of the net. Sliding Aguinaga Hernandez lets it roll past her, out of bounds. Corner kick coming up for St. Francis. Getting very late in the first half. They'll try to get a real push on right now. Put Roosevelt in a hole going into the break. Here's the corner kick. Batted back and forth. Knocked loose by the Lakers. Too many defenders around, and they are able to clear it. Saints try to recapture possession, but they haven't been able to yet. So the Lakers push it ahead. Long race for the ball. And it is won by Mendez and St. Francis. There's a tackle at the sideline. No whistle blows, and it's out of bounds for a St. Francis throw. Intercepted by the Saints defensively. And a foul called on the Lakers. Flores, the sophomore midfielder, drifts back. She takes most of the free kicks. So she'll take this one as well, even deep in the defensive zone. Headed to the middle of the field. Knocked ahead down the sideline. Long run for Johnson. She's able to track it down. Johnson looking for help over the middle. And it's off of her foot. Galvin takes it out of bounds. Corner kick for Roosevelt. Under 100 seconds to play in the first half. Maybe the Lakers' last real chance to get a goal in before halftime. They would love to steal a 1-0 lead, considering how much St. Francis has outplayed them in the first half. There's a header off the foot of a Laker and off the foot of a Saint, out of bounds. One more corner coming up. On its way in. Drifting in front of the net. Ball loose. Roosevelt looking for a shot. Instead, it's sent backwards, and taken away by the Saints. St. Francis on the run. O'Connor tripped up from behind, and a foul is called. We're going to get a yellow card given here. Destiny Ashcraft shown the yellow card for tripping up Mia O'Connor from behind. 46 seconds remaining in the first half. The Saints are about to get a free kick from just beyond midfield. See if they can turn this into a good scoring opportunity. With under a minute to play in the half, the Saints are able to push most of their defense upfield as well without too much fear of repercussion. Only Galvin remains back behind the free kicker here, Kelly Flores. She stands right at midfield. Flores just a little bit beyond that. She takes the kick, sent into the box. On one bounce, it's deflected, and that's a goal. On one hop, it went right into the chest of Gabby Aguanaga Hernandez, but she wasn't able to wrap her arms around it. The ball remained loose in front of the net, and it was tapped in. I didn't see who got it in the end there, but the Saints are able to break the scoreless tie in the final minute of the first half. 41 seconds remaining. It's 1-0 St. Francis. Quick chance for Roosevelt here to try to respond. Saints look like they'll be carrying a lead into halftime. We were scoreless the entire first half, but on a free kick following the yellow card given to Ashcraft, Saints turned it into a score. Aguanaga Hernandez just not able to get her arms around the ball. Played it awkwardly off a short hop. Throw-in coming up for Roosevelt, but they're not going to have enough time to get the ball downfield here. So this will lead us into halftime. Final 10 seconds here. And knocked out of bounds again. I don't think the Lakers are going to bother to throw it in at all. So we will go to break. St. Francis has a 1-0 lead as they score in the final minute of the first half off a free kick deflected in. We'll find out who it was who scored that goal eventually. We'll have that information at the start of the second half when St. Francis will take the field ahead 1-0. Roosevelt will try to play comeback in the second half. I'll step aside for the next 15 minutes. Back after that to get some first half stats and start off half number 2. St. Francis on top of the visiting Roosevelt Lakers 1-0 on the USF Sports Network. It's the start of the second half here in Joliet. Joliet Memorial Stadium, home of the St. Francis Fighting Saints, the host of today's Fighting Saints triple header. The football team took out Judson earlier today, and now the women's soccer team is trying to make it 2 in a row for the Saints. The men's soccer team will take on Roosevelt a little bit later tonight. Good start to this one for the Saints. They certainly outplayed the Lakers in the first half, although it didn't show on the scoreboard until the final minute of the first half. That lone goal that's on the board right now came with 41 seconds remaining before halftime. It came from Kelly Flores, who scored off of a free kick from just beyond midfield. It is St. Francis who gets to open the second half with the first kick. They push it downfield and continue their offensive attack. Andrea Aguirre tries to move forward, but it's stopped by the Roosevelt defense. The defense for Roosevelt didn't play poorly in the first half. They were peppered with a lot of shots. We'll get some of the stats from the first half. I mentioned it didn't necessarily show on the scoreboard, but St. Francis really outplayed Roosevelt for the most part. We got a goal kick here for the Fighting Saints. They outshot Roosevelt in terms of shots on goal 8-2, and in terms of total shots 14-7. 7 saves made by Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez. Coming into today, she had faced 5 shots on goal this year and had only saved 1 of them. So today, she saved 7 of 8. So that's certainly a step in the right direction for her. But keep in mind, most of those shots came from long distance. They weren't particularly difficult. She'd make a couple of good saves. But the lone goal scored by St. Francis was a ball that could have been stopped by Aguinaga Hernandez. Here come the Saints on the attack again. Roosevelt knocks it clear out of bounds along the sideline. The lone goal, again, came from Flores on a free kick. I wasn't sure who had scored it at the time that it happened. Flores sent it towards the net. On one bounce, went right into the chest of Aguinaga Hernandez as Janacek takes a shot, knocked down by Aguinaga Hernandez. I think that was on target, so that would be her 8th save of the day if it didn't go wide. The shot came from Abby Janacek, stepping up from the defensive end. Remains 1-0 St. Francis. Again, on that goal that the Saints scored, it looked to me like it had been deflected off the short hop by Aguinaga Hernandez. We have an offsides call here. And then tapped in by somebody else, but there was no tap, apparently. After it hit the hands of Aguinaga Hernandez, it just rolled into the net. So it was Kelly Flores' goal, her 5th of the season, which ties her with Isabel Diaz for the team lead. Flores is also St. Francis's leader in assists this year with 3 of them. Tied for the team lead anyway with assists, but now that she is the team leader in both goals and assists, obviously she has surpassed Diaz to become the leading points getter this year for St. Francis. She's got 13 of them. Diaz has 11. 2 saves made in the first half by Crystal Rodriguez. Those were not particularly difficult saves either. Roosevelt had a hard time getting good shots off in the first half, but Rodriguez did the job she had to do. She got the shutout going halfway, a little bit more than halfway now as we're 3 minutes into the second half. But just past the halfway point of what would be her 4th shutout of the season. If she can keep it going, trying to become St. Francis' all-time leader in shutouts for a goalkeeper. That despite the fact that she's only a sophomore. She had played every minute in net this season up until a couple of weeks ago. Moved at halftime of one game. Katie Morales came in. She got the start in the next. Morales did not allow a goal in her game and a half. Rodriguez came back in after that, though, and she has been on fire ever since. Kelly Flores will take the free kick here. Flores has 5 shots today, and most of them have come on free kicks. This is from right along the sideline. She sends it to the back side of the net. It bounces a few times, still alive as St. Francis keeps the push going forward, but it's out of bounds. And that'll be a goal kick. Remember, there's not much wind today, but that wind is blowing now at the backs of Roosevelt, so a little bit of a benefit to the Lakers there. St. Francis did take advantage of what wind there is with some long distance shots in the first half. I mentioned Flores took 5 shots in the first half. The one that resulted in the goal was just beyond midfield. And most of her free kicks prior to the one from just a few seconds ago were put on goal. She's been very aggressive on those free kicks today, but this time she went to the back post and the Saints ended up losing it out of bounds. Picked up by Rodriguez in the penalty box on St. Francis's side. 5 minutes into the second half. No update to the scoreboard. It's still 1-0 Fighting Saints. They scored in the 45th minute to take the first lead of the match. Trying to remain unbeaten for an 8th consecutive game, the majority of which have been at home. It's a home-heavy schedule in CCAC play for St. Francis this year. They'll have just one home game left after today in the regular season, and that is coming up a week from today. Back to the normal 1 o'clock start time next week. No football game that day. Janacek sends it ahead down the sideline. Here come the Fighting Saints. There's the cross, and there's nobody on the receiving end. Down into the corner. O'Connor's unable to track it down. I guess she did track it down, but she was out of bounds as she did so. So Roosevelt gets the throw in from deep in their own corner. It rolls off the back line this time. And now the Lakers can get rid of it on a goal kick. See if they can take advantage of this win. I know I keep saying the wind shouldn't be a huge factor, and then I follow that up by talking about it a lot. It has kind of felt like it has been a factor, even though the flags aren't blowing too hard. That's all I'm basing my weather report on, just looking at the flags. It doesn't seem like it's a very windy day. It's been mostly dry since this one started as well. So as lousy as the weather's been really all week here in Chicago, and certainly during this weekend. Throughout the game, it hasn't been very wet and it hasn't been very windy. It's been cool. It's out in the corner, but that's going to be a throw-in. Saints toss it in. O'Connor has it knocked away and out of bounds. Throw in for St. Francis. It rained for most of the day today, but aside from a few drizzly patches since this game started, it's been dry. Still very overcast, although the sun has now almost completely set, so within a few minutes it'll be dark anyway, clouds or no. There's certainly the potential of heavier rain coming back before the evening ends, so we'll see if that happens either during this game or the men's soccer game, which is set to follow this one at about 7:30. Saints defense comes up with a stop there. Roosevelt tries to continue pushing forward. The Lakers had a stretch of about 3 to 4 minutes in the first half, in which they applied a lot of pressure on the St. Francis defense. Got a few good shots off. Kept the Saints back on their heels, and then St. Francis turned things around, and the Lakers didn't really threaten again. That was about 15 to 20 minutes into the game. Other than that, this has been pretty much dominated by the Saints. They're in control once again, but a deflection from the Lakers defense keeps the Fighting Saints off the board. Saints will try again. There's a shot, wide and high, and out of bounds from Mendez. So the shot from Mendez results in a goal kick here. 36 minutes to play. Big difference right now between 1-0 and 0-0, which is what the score was for the first 44 minutes. That kind of freak goal by the Fighting Saints at the end of the first half is a huge difference maker just because of the way this game has gone. It's a huge difference maker under any circumstances, being up a goal compared to being tied. But for as well as the Saints have played today, as much time as they've had with the ball on the attacking side of the field, it would be tough right now to not have the lead at all. As it is, a 1-goal lead means that one mistake could turn things around in a hurry as the Saints try to make it a 2-goal game. Sent into the box, knocked away. Roosevelt's defense stands strong. Out of bounds along the far sideline, right at midfield. A throw-in coming up for the Fighting Saints. The way the game has gone, it feels like more than a 1-goal lead. Feels like it's maybe a 2 or a 3-0 game. And that's not the case thanks to a strong defensive performance today from Roosevelt. Here's Galvin. Galvin's ball is deflected to the sideline. She stays in front of it. It is kept in bounds. The Saints are able to get control of it again to the defensive side. Knocked out of bounds by the team in black. A trip at midfield sends Kelly Flores to the ground. A foul called on Roosevelt. Flores stays right on top of the ball. She'll take the free kick. Good game played so far today by the sophomore Kelly Flores. She's kept the momentum moving in the right direction for the Fighting Saints for the most part. Long run downfield towards the back corner. And the Saints are able to keep the Lakers off the ball. It'll be a goal kick. Good defense from Zoe Vallant, keeping Kira Cruikshank away from the ball. Long run on that ball from Cruikshank. If she had gotten it in the corner, there were a couple of Lakers coming in on the backside of the play that she may have had an opportunity to cross to. Sent into the box. Rodriguez shadows it, and Rodriguez is able to scoop it up on the bounce. Punted away by Crystal Rodriguez out across midfield. Here's Flores tapping to Mendez. Right back to Flores. One touch tried to get around the defender. Not able to do it. Good defense on that play from Mackenzie Alvarez. Now Roosevelt's in possession. A foul is called on St. Francis. Saints take it away. Pushed downfield and nobody on the receiving end. Andrea Aguirre tried to track that ball down. Rolled well too far out in front of her. Haley Bartlaga is getting set to come in for St. Francis. We saw her towards the end of the first half. A little bit more offensive firepower. Getting set to come in off the bench. I think we will get to see her right now as the Saints get the throw in. Roosevelt used the opportunity to make a substitution of their own as Kelsey Johnson checks back in. Johnson comes in for Daisy Hernandez-Loya. Remember, Loya left this game about halfway through the first half with an injury. Johnson came in for her then as well. Hernandez-Loya has been out there for 14 minutes here in the second half. Trying to give it another go, but she's hobbled a little bit as she walks off. So I don't know if we'll see her again today. If that's the same injury that was bothering her in the first half on a chilly day like this, it's hard for those injuries to go away, at least the pain of it. The muscles tense up. So she may be done for the rest of the day. We'll see. Tried to give it a go here in the second half. Just didn't go over all that well. There's a nice deflection from Janacek and cleared by St. Francis. Roosevelt tries it again. Macias has the ball taken away by Flores. Back at midfield. Ahead to Cruikshank. Cruikshank works against Claudia Hernandez, and Hernandez watches the ball all the way back into the gloved hands of Crystal Rodriguez. 15 minutes into the second half. No change in the score. Still 1-0 St. Francis after they got us on the board at the end of the first half, the very end. Final minute of play in the first half. Saints have scored at least 2 goals in 3 consecutive games coming into play today. So they've got a half hour now to keep that streak alive. Frankly, that streak doesn't matter too much. The one that they're more concerned about is the one that has seen them get a result in 7 consecutive matches. Nobody on the outside for Roosevelt, so that pass goes untouched as it rolls out of bounds. Headed out by the team in gold. Throw in Lakers. Going back and forth, and who will take control of this ball? Finally, it is the visiting team. There's an interception on the far side of the field by Alexis Mariquin. Mariquin tries to turn it upfield. Instead, she's tackled off the ball, out of bounds. Rodriguez watches that ball go right past her. Out of bounds and a goal kick coming up. Substitution for the Lakers, Brenna Roloff, freshman from Michigan, who started and played the whole first half. Is back in after a rest. Alex Creel comes out, another freshman. To the near side, a little bit too far for Cruikshank. Sort of a different feel to the second half for the most part so far than the first. St. Francis hasn't dominated possession quite as much. They certainly haven't gotten the same volume of shots off. They don't need to with a 1-goal lead. Roosevelt has battled for position a little bit more. Now they're trying to turn that into a goal as that shot goes wide to the right and well out of bounds. Injured player for St. Francis. It's Kelly Flores who went down earlier on the play. Play was not stopped as Roosevelt was in the middle of an attack when the shot ended up going wide and out. The whistle blows now. Clock does stop with 27:26 remaining in the second half. Flores is up and walking it off. We're going to get a corner kick here for Roosevelt after that shot was deflected by St. Francis. The kick will be taken by Naya Bajarano. Headed once to the backside. No shot from Roosevelt. And cleared by St. Francis. Are they able to get a counterattack here? They are not, as play is stopped. Another injured player down for St. Francis. Right in front of the net, actually, thanks to a collision in front of the goal. Players down on both sides. Macias is back up for Roosevelt. She went down on the play as well, but the St. Francis player is still down. Haven't got a look at who it is yet. 27:16 now on the clock. With a Roosevelt corner kick, they had their best opportunity perhaps to score in the second half. They've had better position on the field in the second half than they did in the first. They've had control of the ball a little bit more often. They've been able to challenge St. Francis' defense a little bit more, but they haven't really been able to turn those into any shots. Nearly did a moment ago. They did get one shot off, but it was well wide off of a deflection. And the corner kick did not lead to any shots. It did lead to that collision in front of the net that felled one player from each team. Macias, as I mentioned, is back up. She's being tended to on the sideline right now by her coaching staff, but it looked like she was okay as she pulled herself to her feet and walked off the field. And now the St. Francis player is being helped up. Litzy Mendez. Mendez has been down since the collision in front of the net at the start of the corner kick. This does give Kelly Flores a little bit of time to get back in the swing of things. Flores went down with an injury just a few seconds earlier, and she was limping around a bit, but she has a little bit of time. This is not the way you want to get it, by seeing one of your teammates get injured, but it is the one bright spot of the stoppage in play, is that Flores is able to get back in the swing of things, and hopefully Mendez is all right as well. Down on the ground for a while, being tended to by the training staff. She has been helped to her feet. She is up in front of the net right now. And she's being helped off the field. She is walking off gingerly, but she is walking off the field, so that's good for the Fighting Saints right now. We'll resume play in just a few moments. Just about 18 minutes into the second half. 1-0. St. Francis leads on Kelly Flores' goal off a free kick from nearly 50 yards out with 41 seconds left in the first half. And that's all the offense we've seen so far today. St. Francis has dominated statistically, but other than the one goal, hasn't turned into anything. The one goal, not to take anything away from Flores, was a little bit of a freak play as the ball bounced towards the goalkeeper, Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez's hands, and she was unable to wrap it up, and off the deflection ended up going in. Still, St. Francis more than doubling up Roosevelt in terms of shots today. They have 4 times as many shots on goal. And Roosevelt has not had a single one here in the second half. That despite the fact they have been able to keep the ball a lot more frequently than they were in the first half of tonight's game. Saints get it across midfield here. Good run from Flores. Flores has 2 defenders in front of her. Now she uses some help off to her left. Hernandez passes it back to Flores. Flores again along the back line, looking for help over the middle. Tapped ahead. She was trying to find Haley Bartlaga, intercepted, but deflected right back to the foot of Kelly Flores. Saints still in control of this one. Can they turn it into a shot? It's Bartlaga. Bartlaga crosses it towards the front of the net, right at the edge of the penalty box. Roosevelt is able to take the ball away on a challenge, and now they clear it. So good play by Flores, and for a long time the Saints had possession. Not able to turn it into a shot though. Still 1-0. We'll see if the Lakers can do on this side of the field what the Saints were unable to do on their side. Foul called on the Fighting Saints. Or just a throw in here. My mistake. It'll just be a throw in for Roosevelt. Karen Salgado heads out for the Lakers. Paola Macias is back in. She was only out for a brief minute. Nia Okana along the sideline. Sends it across midfield. Trying to find Isabel Diaz. Too many defenders in her way, though. .25 minutes to play. Saints trying to hold on to a 1-goal lead. Aguirre to the outside. Alexis Mariquin weaves her way between a few defenders. Got tripped up at one point on that play. Foul called against the visiting team. Free kick here for St. Francis. It's a long way out, but this is considerably closer to the net than the free kick that they scored their goal on. So we'll see what Flores has in mind here. If she does try to again put it right at Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez. She does, but it's wide this time. Aguinaga Hernandez wisely let it go out of bounds. Goal kick coming up. Still 1-0 St. Francis. Haven't had quite the offensive second half that they did in the first when they had 8 shots on goal. Just one of them so far in this half. But neither has Roosevelt been able to turn up their offensive pressure. Still getting shut out in this one. Now more than 2.5 games into a scoreless streak. They were shut out 1-0 against a very tough Olivet Nazarene team last Saturday. And on Wednesday they fell to St. Ambrose, another tough opponent, 3-0. And today they trail 1-0. Trying to avoid getting shut out for the 3rd straight game as Aguinaga Hernandez comes out of the net and dives on top of that ball to prevent the Saints from getting a shot. The Lakers have not played poorly in this game. They're just, as the case has been in recent weeks, not getting any shots off. Their defense has been strong, though. For all the shots that the Saints have taken, there have not been too many in which Roosevelt fans have had to hold their breath. See if that changes here as the Saints march down the field again. There's a cross deflected towards the back line, and it is kept in bounds. It was looking for a second like we'd have a corner kick, and we will have a corner kick. It was not ultimately kept in by Roosevelt. So the Saints will send it in from the far corner. Okana sends it in on the ground. Knocked away by Roosevelt. And there's the clearance from the Lakers defense. Crossfield long run for Haley Bartlaga. Looks like that ball will stay in bounds. Bartlaga gets to it along the sideline. Passes back to Janacek. There's a collision and a foul called on St. Francis. Contact initiated by Claudia Hernandez. Knocked Kira Cruikshank to the ground. So the free kick from Roosevelt pushes it into the attacking side of the field. Lakers right at midfield now. Bejarano passes ahead to Cruikshank. Cruikshank long run down to the corner and can't keep it in bounds. Kira Cruikshank has been the premier attacker here in the second half for Roosevelt. She's had the most chances moving forward. That is in part due to Daisy Hernandez Loya's injury. She started the second half, played the first 14 minutes. She's been on the bench for the last 10. But with her out, Cruikshank has been the one they've sent the ball to on the attack most often. The freshman from Rockford is looking for her second collegiate goal. For this team that has struggled to score overall, they do have 2 players with 4 goals, Hernandez Loya and Bejarano. But aside from that, nobody's got more than one. I talked about it during the first half. The Saints went through a period earlier this year where they really struggled to score. They've been out of that for several weeks now, though. They've found their offense in conference play. Roosevelt's going through those same kind of struggles right now. They haven't gotten out of the woods. It's a foul on St. Francis. We'll get a free kick going left to right here. Roosevelt has the opportunity here right at midfield along the sideline. Saints turn it upfield. Knocked back the other way. Pushed ahead by Roosevelt. Bartlaga tried to step in and make the stop. Nice job by Bejarano keeping it, though. Intercepted by St. Francis deep into their own defensive zone. O'Connor is called for the foul as she trips up Destiny Ashcraft. So Roosevelt's starting to run out of time. We're well over halfway through this second period now. 18 and a half minutes to play, and that still is a lot of time to find the equalizer, and it potentially is enough time to get a second goal and take the lead as well. But the Lakers have to turn up the offensive pressure pretty soon because they do not have a shot on goal yet in this second half. More defense from the Fighting Saints. Cleared there, and a foul called on the Lakers. Peyton Connolly called for the trip. Another freshman. A lot of freshmen play for this Roosevelt team. Brenner Roloff we've seen. Alex Creel. Peyton Connolly, as I just mentioned. Becca Simpkins. Kira Cruikshank. They're all freshmen. Got a handful of sophomores in the lineup as well. So it's a pretty young team, which I'm sure contributes to the fact that they've struggled to score. This is a relatively young St. Francis team. Certainly their top offensive players. It's a veteran defense as Rodriguez grabs the ball, though Rodriguez is only a sophomore. But I talked a lot early in the year about the reasons they were struggling to score, and reason number one seemed to be they lost their star goal scorer from a season ago, Allison Shar, who scored almost half the team's goals. When you lose that, you got to find somebody else to step up. It took some time. But Isabel Diaz, the freshman, and Kelly Flores, the sophomore, have ended up becoming the two who have stepped into that role during the second half of the season. And a lot of times that's what happens when you lose a star senior. Those young players just take a little bit more time to step up. And Roosevelt is going through that period right now. Daisy Hernandez-Loya is just a sophomore. Kira Cruikshank just a freshman. Those are their two starting forwards. And again, Hernandez-Loya is out right now as the free kick is sent into the box. Off deflection, a chance for a shot for Roosevelt. Knocked away again. Here's a shot that's headed into the air and out of bounds. We've got a corner kick coming up. The St. Francis defense comes up with the stop, at least for the time being. But the Lakers still do have an opportunity here from the corner. Maitha Gongora sends the ball in, headed away by St. Francis. Back into the corner. O'Connor tries to turn it the other way and finally succeeds in doing that, giving it off to Haley Bartlaga. Deep downfield from Roosevelt into the box. Rodriguez watches it go out of bounds. Looked initially like she was going to pick it up off the hop, but she was in a little bit awkward position. Realized she had an easy goal kick here and preferred that to the chance of maybe trying to catch it and not, turning it into a corner kick. Rodriguez goes low on the goal kick towards the near sideline. Bartlaga tried to keep it alive. Cruikshank took it off of her. Cruikshank hits the ground. And a foul called on St. Francis. We're down to the final 15 minutes here. Roosevelt looking for the equalizer from the sideline. 35 yards off the net. The kick will be taken by Alex Creel, the aforementioned freshman defender. Here's the kick from Creel. Rodriguez backs up and makes the catch. Good positioning for Crystal Rodriguez. She was eyeing that one down the whole way. In perfect position. And made sure it didn't sneak past her. So we remain in a 1-0 game. St. Francis still has that lead they took at the very end of the first half, the closing seconds before halftime. Saints try to double that lead. Pass doesn't make it to Bartlaga from Alexis Mariquin. St. Francis defense gets it back at midfield. Tapped off towards Janacek from Flores. Flores was not able to get it there. Here's Roosevelt on the counter. Flores takes it away. Good defense from Kelly Flores. Ultimately lost out of bounds, last touched by Roosevelt. And a sub coming on for the Saints. Maita Bernal comes in. Isabel Diaz checks out. Diaz had the first shot of the game for St. Francis. In the first minute of the game. She's been pretty quiet since then. Hasn't gotten a shot off since. But her team still has the lead. As Bernal tries to work her way forward, a foul is called. Delayed foul called against Roosevelt. Been a busy day for Flores. Another free kick for the sophomore here. Flores right down the middle of the field. It rolls back towards the net. And Aguinaga Hernandez lets it go out of bounds. Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez has not had nearly as busy a second half as she did in the first. She's been able to kind of sit back and relax a little bit here. That time it was like the sea parted. And the ball found a free path all the way back to the net, but Aguinaga Hernandez sized it up right, recognized it was going wide, and elected not to touch it. At the midfield, the Lakers take possession. There's an interception from the Fighting Saints. Towards the near side. Player goes down for St. Francis. Fighting Saints have control of the ball, so time is called. Claudia Hernandez is down right now for the Saints. Been a rough second half for St. Francis. Litzy Mendez sat down about 15 minutes ago after she went out with an injury. She has not been seen on the field again since then. Kelly Flores was down for a little bit. Flores popped right back up. She's been on the field for the most part since her injury. Mendez is still on the sideline for St. Francis. She's walking back and forth behind the bench. And now Hernandez down for just a second. But she's back up as well. So Claudia Fernandez is fine, it appears, although she is walking off towards the sideline. She'll check right back in, I think. See if that's how it plays out. It is going to be a free kick here for the Fighting Saints. The Saints had the ball before the stop, but it'll be Roosevelt giving it back to the Saints defensively. And Hernandez will check right back in. Rodriguez restarts play for St. Francis, back from the goalkeeper's box. Hernandez is already back on the field. Had to check out for just a moment after the trainers were called. She's all right to continue. Few good moves for Roosevelt, but the play ends up going nowhere. Rodriguez picks it up again. Killed a little time before picking that ball up. She waited for Roosevelt to challenge her. So the Saints have reached the stage of the game where they want to see every second run off that clock that possibly can, up by 1 goal with now just about 11 minutes to play. There's a trip and another foul called against the Lakers. Free kick, St. Francis. Everybody's in position. Flores approaches, sends the kick deep down the field and a little bit too deep as it goes out of bounds. Nope, it stayed in. Saints keep it alive. Bartlaga crosses in front of the net. Ball loose, chased towards the back line once again and kept in again. Another ball sent in front of the net, deflected back towards the sideline. Throw in for the Saints. Headed back towards the sideline. We'll do it again, same spot. Deflected out a third time. Saints have been pushed back a little bit here, but the clock now under 10 minutes is still very much on the home team side. And they're at a stage now that if they can add one more goal late here, then they are in pretty good position. They're in pretty good position right now, too. They could essentially put it away with one more. Roosevelt struggling to score, but they're trying to turn that around now as Cruikshank makes a long run towards the ball. Cruikshank needs some help in the middle of the field. Looking to get around a defender. There's the cross, and there's a deflection from the Saints' second defender up. Working forward again. Tackled off the ball. A shot from Roosevelt from 30 yards out. Bounces to the right of the net and out of bounds. Missed opportunity for the Lakers there. And the Saints will take possession on the goal kick. Knocked down by Brenna Roloff. Headed by Hernandez towards the sideline, out of bounds. Hernandez did touch that one last. Cruikshank down on the ground. Slow to get up, but she is up. Ellie Bartlaga takes the time to tie her shoe as the clock does continue to run. Thrown in by Creel. Macias trying to turn it towards the middle of the pitch. Instead, she loses it out of bounds. Goal kick, St. Francis, and again, they're at that stage now where they're letting a few extra seconds tick off on each one of these free kicks that they're getting. Substitution coming in late for Roosevelt. And it is Becca Simpkins, freshman forward, who checks back in. She started today. Back out there to finish now. Roosevelt lost it at the midfield. They get it back, though. So no harm done for the Lakers. Creel tries to push it forward, runs right into Bartlaga. Good stop by Bartlaga. Here's Paola Macias. Foul called on Macias, and it looks like this will be a yellow card as well. Yellow card given to Paola Macias, the junior midfielder. She took out Andrea Aguirre on the play. It stops the clock with 7:01 to play. Gives a free kick here to Kelly Flores. Flores' kick sails into the box. Headed by St. Francis, kept in front of the goal. A turn and a shot deflected by the defense. They're not able to get one to the net. Saints still in control as the ball rolls out of bounds for a throw-in. St. Francis makes a substitution here. Isabel Diaz, after a little bit of a break, comes back on. Bartlaga checks out. Throw in far side of the field. Closing minutes of today's game. St. Francis leads 1-0. They scored on a free kick in the final minute of the first half. They're trying to score again, not exactly in the final minute, but close to it here in the second half. Instead, Roosevelt takes it away. Nobody out in front of that ball for the Lakers, and so Rodriguez lets it harmlessly roll back into her hands. Rodriguez on the verge of what would be her second consecutive shutout, third in her last 4 games, fourth of the year. She's less than 6 minutes away from it. Good defense from St. Francis. Simpkins having a tough time turning it upfield. Now a run for the Saints into the box and grabbed by Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez. Final 5 minutes. Saints on the attack again. It's Diaz. Diaz had O'Connor out in front of her, couldn't connect with her. Instead, it's intercepted by Mackenzie Alvarez. Lakers push it downfield. 2 defenders there for St. Francis. Zoe Vallance able to get to it. Knocks it towards the sideline out of bounds. Throw-in coming up for Roosevelt. Roosevelt's taking their time here, waiting for the defense to come up to spark this throw-in, but they're down to their final 4 minutes. Trailing by a goal, they've got to move a little bit faster. There's a shot and over the crossbar. Rodriguez doesn't need to make the save. It's out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick. Bartlaga back in for St. Francis. Looks like a substitute came on for Roosevelt as well. I think that's Leslie Jimenez, sophomore from Cicero. Clock stopped at 3:47. Rodriguez will send it away. Hit high into the air by Alexis Mariguin towards the near side. Bartlaga able to hold off Creel. Keep the ball alive for St. Francis. The Lakers nearly took it away, but Janacek sends it across midfield. Lakers trying to turn it around here. Moving forward, it's deflected out of bounds off of the Lakers throw-in for the Fighting Saints. Mariguin will toss it back into play. Remember, this is game 2 of a St. Francis triple header at Joliet Memorial Stadium today. Football team won. The women's soccer team now just under 3 minutes away from making it a 2-0 day for St. Francis. And the men's soccer team comes up next against the men of Roosevelt. Here's Diaz. Isabel Diaz makes a move to her right. Good defense in front of her, but Diaz holds on to the ball. Now chipped into the box. Bartlaga makes a run on it. Bartlaga is able to keep it in front of her, turning it towards her right, deflected away. Still alive in the box. Another chance for St. Francis. Bartlaga takes the shot, and it's over the net, out of bounds. Deflected out by Roosevelt. We've got a corner kick coming up here for the Fighting Saints. And another chance for them to put the game away once and for all now. It'll be under 2 minutes to play in the match by the time this corner kick is taken. So a goal would just about end things. Kick is sent in, misses everybody. Rolls to the far side and stays in bounds. Kept alive by Mia Okana. Okana has worked off the ball. Here comes Cruikshank. Cruikshank pushed it a little bit too far out in front of her, and the Saints take the opportunity to send it the other way. It forces the Lakers to reset again with now just 90 seconds to play. Aguinaga Hernandez punts it well downfield across the midfield stripe. Roosevelt launches it into the offensive zone, but Rodriguez waits for it to come back into the box, and now Rodriguez secures it. She'll take some more time off the clock here before punting it away. A soft punt, but it bounces over the head of the first Roosevelt attacker. At midfield, Roloff is able to control it for the Lakers. Maybe the last attack of the game right here for Roosevelt. Janacek knocks it loose. Possession remains alive for Roosevelt. Pushed ahead and headed back the other way by St. Francis. Flores deflected by Roloff out of bounds, and we're down to 30 seconds here. The Saints can take a few more off the clock before throwing it in. And once again, if they can clear it across midfield, it'll probably be all she wrote for Roosevelt today. Another shutout win for St. Francis. This time it is Roosevelt's throw. Can they work it in quickly enough to get one more shot off? We're into the final 10 seconds. And it rolls to the back line. They're not going to have time to get another shot off. And that is the final of today's game. 1-0. St. Francis picks up another shutout victory. They win for the 4th consecutive time, and they keep their unbeaten streak rolling. It's now 8 consecutive games without a loss. During that stretch, they've gone 5-0-3, and they continue to work their way up the CCAC standings. Great showing again for the Fighting Saints. They scored on a Kelly Flores free kick in the 45th minute, just seconds before halftime, on a ball that Gabby Aguinaga Hernandez in goal was not able to put her arms around. It hit her hands, but it deflected off, and it ended up rolling into the net. And as a result, the Saints got the lone goal they needed. And if it hadn't been for that play, who knows what happens in the second half. St. Francis probably would have put on a little bit more pressure, and they would have tried to score a little bit harder than they did. But as it is, a frustrating loss for Roosevelt, knowing they came so close to coming up with the shutout themselves. Instead, they lose for the 3rd consecutive time. It's their 3rd straight game in which they failed to score a goal. For St. Francis and their goalkeeper, Crystal Rodriguez, it's her 4th shutout of the season and the team's 5th shutout this year. Rodriguez secures her team record 11th shutout of her 2-year career here at the University of St. Francis, as the Fighting Saints even up their record on the season. They are now 5-5-5 this year. In conference play, they improved to a very impressive 5-1-3. With the loss, Roosevelt drops their record this season to 4-8. They are now 2-6 against CCAC competition. Just one more home game coming up for the Fighting Saints this year, and that'll be a week from today. They've got one more road game coming up between now and then as well, as they'll take the field away from home on Tuesday, I believe. They take on St. Ambrose at St. Ambrose. That'll be a tough opponent for them. St. Ambrose has been very good this year before they come back home next Saturday to take on Viterbo University. Some of the final stats from today: total shots 23-13 in favor of the Fighting Saints. Shots on goal went 9-3 for the Fighting Saints. Crystal Rodriguez made 3 saves in her shutout today. as the Fighting Saints take out the Lakers 1-0. That'll do it for today's broadcast. Remember, the men's action is coming up in just a half hour. 7:30 start time for St. Francis against Roosevelt Part 2. And we'll have that broadcast for you as well right here on the USF Sports Network. So hopefully we'll talk to you again then. Otherwise, the next time the women take the field is a week from today, 1 o'clock next Saturday against Viterbo. That'll do it for now. Thanks for tuning in. St. Francis wins it 1-0. We'll be back soon for the men's game. Until then, have a good Saturday evening if you're not back with us later.